friends, welcome to another video. It's a nice early spring day, and I am just going for a little walk and just to tell about my experience trying to access the resources that are supposed to be there to help us, the public, from toxic, I guess, practices. I don't even know the proper terminology, but so in the city I live, it's pretty much a pro-landlord situation, and I'm all for commerce and people thriving and businesses and whatnot, and yet sometimes it just gets really pretty sick and twisted, and where I am, it's the worst I've ever seen. I mean, just there's this complete lack of conscience, and maybe it's a sign of the times. Maybe it isn't even this part of the country. Maybe it's just a de-evolution of civilization. But I wanted to talk about when you contact what appear to be an advocacy organization. And the thing is, when you're in a low-income special interest group in the disability category, your privileged peers, the protected, friends and family who don't have to access these public services, they're like, oh, go talk to this state agency or that government federal agency, and they're going to help you. And pretty much every one of those agencies, with the exception of maybe 1% or maybe like 10% of that 1%, is really on your side. Like 10% of that 1% of that whole 100. And the rest are kind of in cahoots. I don't completely understand it, more than in the Bible it says we fight not flesh and blood but principalities. And anything that is an established business or government municipality is a principality. Because I just don't understand how all of these, like, social service agencies or public protection whatevers, that they seem to do more harm than good. I don't know, have you guys ever seen that? So maybe a lot of other people have already talked about this, but so if you're contacting something that seems like it's human rights or disability rights or housing protection, whatever, it is very likely it's the opposite of what its name is. Not every time, but be prepared that you're either they're indifferent to your situation, or they're being bribed, because I suspect that happened when I worked at this organic farm, and it was they were breaking like 10 of the 15 worker protection rules that OSHA had. I mean, like, farm workers, the people who have less protection than farm workers are miners, like the people who mine for coal nowadays are like in slave labor like working conditions. So and I think OSHA tried making me feel bad for my abusive employers. Like, they tried making me feel like, oh, what a nice place it was to be abused here. I mean, it's so beautiful where you got abused, and so maybe it's like these people who take these jobs lack a conscience and Um, they're unemployable otherwise, and they're the rejects of the private sector. And, they would probably be a crackhead, crystal meth person on disability, I guess, otherwise. Or they'd be working at Burger King. I don't know. But these people who work for the government, who are supposed to be there to help you, it's like you're calling the customer service at Verizon or AT&T with the same hostility. I don't get it. Do you get it? So, I know I'm rambling here, and this is my third try of trying to provide helpful perspective. I'm hoping the scenery will make up for my lack of content. It's hard holding the tablet and walking and talking. But anyway, so just be prepared that they are not necessarily your advocates, even though their name might even have customer advocate in the title. Okay, so just be prepared. And being that a lot of these people who are government workers, who are there to supposedly protect the public good. So the website will say, we're here to protect the public good. But then you talk to them and are like, no, we're not here. Oh my God, that's what's happened with other advocacy groups. They're like, oh, we're not here to protect you. We're not here to advocate for you. It's and it's just this weird double speak. And this cognitive dissonance, they're fine with that. They're called human rights, and that they don't protect your human rights. I guess the human rights they're protecting are government rights, or I don't know, lawyers' rights. So just be prepared. They're gonna tell you, when they screw up too, when they, I'm in communication with one of these organizations, and it's my experience that they're kind of out to lunch, and they're not gonna bother reading. If you're gonna send them more than a couple sentences, they're like, oh no, I'm not gonna read 20 pages. And I've got hundreds of pages because I documented the violations that went on, because I knew that's what's my job. And the irony is the more information you have, it's to your detriment. Even the authorities don't want all the details. So this guy, even though I send him hundreds of pages, maybe dozens of pages, but he's I'm not clear what happened. And he says, I'm not going to read all of the stuff that you sent me. And I got angry because he let me waste all this time sending him material. And of course, no conscience, no humanity, and just some robot zombie. And so when I blew up at him, because he wanted, while he didn't want to read the material, the evidence that I presented, while he didn't want to read that, he wanted me to go through it all for him at his convenience, to kind of slap something together. And the thing is, I want to construct an accurate, complete, I don't mean lengthy, I want to choose the most convincing points out of all the data, rather than just this and that and the other thing. So he was when I was upset that he was doing this, like that he basically wasn't lifting a finger and making me do his work for him, he was like, well, I'm not your advocate, you know. Anyway, and it seems like he said this a lot, you know. It seemed like that's one of his favorite lines to pull out, and so it's like there's this sadistic, like the people who are in those advocacy groups, they're sadists enjoying your suffering as the victim, you know, like they're the secondary perpetrator, and they know it, and somehow they're just fine about it, and somehow they get away with it. Further, so this guy, I was on the phone with him for 2 hours, you know, because he's having me do all his work for him, and he doesn't care how it's distressing. He said, oh, if you don't like this, you can just close the file. You can close the investigation. You know, and it's like I've put so much into this, and it's sort of like, you know, I'm hoping, like, if he's that evil to me, at least maybe he'll be a little bit evil to the people who I'm filing with this about. Probably not. They're probably going to bribe him too, like Gosha was bribed by the farm that I filed a complaint against. And maybe he already did. Which is why he's like so self-satisfied and smug when we were on the phone. So just be prepared that you're going to be dealing with somebody with a lack of conscience, even though they're your advocacy. Not only do they lack a conscience, but they're going to get off on the distress they cause you, and then they hold you over the barrel because you want their help. So they're like, well, you know, like, so they get to be a jerk and then say, well, you can leave if you want. And, you know, and then you don't. Oh, I mean, they're just, it's like, I think it's malignant narcissism, although now there's all these new definitions and whatnot. So just be prepared for these smug, self-satisfied sadists who are in positions of advocacy for people with disadvantages. So you're going to be dealing with that, and it's horrible, it's harrowing, it's demoralizing, it's dysregulating, it's maddening, and you're in this double bind because your friends and family, peer, community, everybody's like, you should go to this advocacy organization. And the thing is, there's just so many layers of dysfunction of these so-called advocacy organizations. They're sick, they're twisted, and then if you say anything, you're this problem. But you're right, you know, like, this is the weirdest, I mean, this all just confirms to me we're living truly in a fallen world. Like, this is not the golden rule, and it seems like there's more that these principalities get out of causing suffering than even doing their job, than even things running smoothly. Like, it seems like things run smoothly only if they're causing suffering. So I just wanted to you know, share my experience, and hopefully it will be helpful. Just, you know, keep a heads up, make sure you manage your mindset. There is hope somehow. Don't feed those psychic vampires, those energetic unclean spirits. Don't feed them your suffering. Find a way to smile, joy, and at the least distract yourself. And so thank you for watching and listening, and God bless.